My name is Thavius Beck, and I am a certified trainer of Ableton Live. I'm also going to show you the MIDI controller that I use, which is the Launchpad. Now, what I want to show you today is how I use Ableton for live performance. When you first get the Launchpad and you first plug it in to use with Ableton, you'll see the session view, 8 tracks and 8 clip slots. Moving up and down, okay, the lights on my Launchpad will change to show me where there's clips in my session view. I have 4 audio tracks, and this is a MIDI track. So in my audio tracks, I can load audio samples or songs, MP3s. And in my MIDI track, I can load MIDI instruments. So drum machines, synthesizers. Warping is what makes Ableton different from Pro Tools, Logic, Cubase, all those other programs. Are there any questions? I owned an APC-40 and I really wanted to like it. But for me, the biggest thing, the APC-40 is much bigger. And it's not powered just by the USB bus. You have to plug it in. The other thing is that the APC-40 doesn't send MIDI note data, so you can't control your MIDI instruments. With the APC-20, the smaller one, you can, but then you don't have the extra knobs, you know, so it's, I don't know. Honestly, I think it was poorly designed, you know. Again, I had one. I used to use MPCs back in the day. I'm a big fan of Akai's gear, but they didn't do a good job with the APC-40. And with this, it's very lightweight. It's half the price of the APC-40, and you can do a lot more with it. I've had a Launchpad for a year and a half, and this is the only controller that I use live. I really, really like this controller. So for me personally, it's the best right now.
Loves your silver Launchpad.
Oh, I thank you. I love it too. Any other questions? Again, when I first saw it, I instantly fell in love because I realized how much I could do. And I go to a lot of different music conventions, so I see all of the newer gear before it comes out. I still haven't seen anything that I personally like better than this. But there's 3 other modes that are very distinct and really helpful.
Также есть еще другие режимы, 3 других режима, которые могут вам очень помочь.
Okay. But first, let's go to the mixer view.
Сейчас мы с вами рассмотрим mixer view.
Lots of pretty lights.
Красивый цвет.
And in the mixer view, this will mirror the mixer in Ableton Live. As I press this, the red button comes on, which means I can record to those tracks now. So if I want to turn my drum down,
Если я хочу выключить барабаны, я делаю так.
I can do that, okay? If I want to turn it back up.
Хочу обратно включить.
Now what's nice is that you can always just jump to a certain point, okay? Yes. It's my favorite toy. So this is very, very cool. The main thing is to be able to see this in a dark club when you're playing a show. It's very helpful. So that's the volume button for our panning. If the buttons are in the middle, that means it's panned to the center. It's right in the center, okay? But now, my favorite part is user 2. User 2 is very good because you can MIDI map this however you want. It's very flexible. For my live performance, all I use is the user 2 mode. The way I have my show set up with user 2, I can launch my clips, I can control my filters. I have a plugin called InstaJungle that I use, and I can control that with this as well. So I can do everything without leaving this page. Now I'm going to hold down the first button in my row. As I'm holding this, I didn't let go, I'm still holding it. I'm going to click the last button in that row. Now this whole row is going to control my filter frequency. We only have lights from our filter and this on-off switch. We can easily set up lights for the button value and for the speed, the same way that we did for the auto filter. It's very easy to do. So let's just do that quickly so we can have some more lights. Create a little disco party with this thing. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to create another MIDI track. Shift, Command, T. There we go. Same thing, we're going to create some dummy MIDI clips. And actually, you know what? Let me just copy these over here. This whole row of MIDI clips was for our auto filter. I can just copy these 8 clips. Command C. And I'm going to paste those over here. Okay, so now these clips are going to be for the button value of InstaJungle. Now, before we start playing this again, I'm actually going to duplicate this entire track. Let's see, I can right click. There we go. I hit duplicate. Now it duplicates the entire MIDI track with all those MIDI clips. But now I can assign these to different buttons. So this is going to be for the speed or the pitch, okay, which are these buttons right here. Okay, so same thing. We're going to go to this third track and just assign those to these buttons. Yeah, I can reach over here with my thumb. There we go. All right, so now we can do the same thing we were doing, except we're going to have lights. So in that little bit of time, we set up a filter here, our InstaJungle plugin. We can turn it on and off. We can change the pitch. We can change how often it's repeating. We have a visual metronome that we set up. I could set up a crossfader on here. I mean, again, user 2 is extremely flexible. And I've set it up so I don't ever need to leave this page when I'm controlling my live set. Most people, when they see Ableton Live, they think of it mainly for DJs. And when they see the launchpad and they don't see keys, it's hard to think of it as a musical instrument. But to be honest, I've used this to write a lot of different types of songs as I've been traveling on the train and on the plane. It's almost like it feels a bit like playing the bass guitar in a way, if that makes any sense. It's almost like fat fingers on some frets, like. I'm a bass player too, so.
What kind of music do you play?
Well, I've started playing. I started off playing jazz, like jazz fusion, but got more into rock and then hip hop, crazier, more aggressive hip hop. I became a big fan of 9 Inch Nails as well. That's probably one of my biggest influences. So yes, very good. Trent is a very good person. I've also been able to use the second one. I have another plugin called Stutter Edit, and I was able to draw letters on here as well. So like I said, my bottom row is a crossfader, and I have it set up so tracks 1 and 3 are on this side, tracks 2 and 4 are on this side. Again, just with the basic stuff that I've shown you guys, it's easy to set this up. And I know it looks like complicated and it looks like a lot. It's really, really easy to do. And like I said, I can control everything with just this one page, just user 2. So I don't ever have to go to my session view. I don't ever need to go to my mixer view. I just use this and I can do everything I want to. But to answer your question, okay, if I wanted to, I could have one launchpad on my session view and then the other launch pad on my mixer view. Let's see. There we go. So, I could have one doing my volume, and then I can launch my clips with the other one. Crazy light show. All right. Okay. And again, you notice every time I play something, it's on beat. Nothing ever turns on and it's off. So it's really, really easy. If you just... There we go. All right. If you just take a bit of time to prepare before a performance, doing this is very simple. Then again, when you are using Ableton to create music from scratch, using the Launchpad in User 1 mode, you're able to control all of your MIDI instruments. If you go to the session view, you can easily launch all of your audio clips. You go to the mixer page, you can control the volume, mute everything, really control your mixer. So you can seriously control every part of Ableton Live just with this controller. And that's the main reason I use it. And plus, again, you do all of this just with USB power. I fit 2 of these, my computer, my headphones, in a little bag, and I'm good to play anywhere. Very much for your time and your attention. I really appreciate it. other questions?
Does it can cook food? It's very smart. Can't do anything else.
I gotta program it to cook, I think. I'm gonna work on that.